Matthew chapter 15 continues the themes of Jesus' conflict with religious authorities, particularly concerning traditions versus God's commands, and further showcases his divine compassion and power through healings and another miraculous feeding. This chapter highlights Jesus' focus on the heart and his universal mission beyond just the Jewish people. In verses 1 through 9, we have discussions about Jewish traditions and commandments. Pharisees and teachers of the law from Jerusalem confront Jesus, asking why his disciples break the tradition of the elders by not washing their hands before they eat. This refers to ritual purification, not hygiene. Jesus rebukes them for placing their traditions above God's commands. He cites Isaiah, calling them hypocrites. They honor God with lips, but their hearts are far from him. This story is also in Mark chapter 7. The key message is the emphasis that the Pharisees' focus on external rituals and traditions had replaced genuine obedience to God's core commands. In verses 10 through 20, Jesus teaches on what defiles a person. Jesus teaches that it is not what goes into the mouth that defiles a person, but what comes out of it. He explains that evil thoughts, words, and actions come from the heart, that these things truly defile a person. This story is also in Mark chapter 7. The key message is the importance of inner purity over external rituals. In verse 21 through 28, we have the story of the faith of the Canaanite woman. A Gentile woman begs Jesus to heal her demon-possessed daughter. Jesus initially rejects her, testing her faith. His disciples urge him to send her away because she keeps crying out. Her humble and persistent reply, "Even the dogs eat the crumbs," moves Jesus to praise her faith and grant her request. This story is also in Mark chapter 7. The key messages of this event are the powerful demonstration of Jesus' compassion extending beyond Israel, a foreshadowing of the Gentile mission, and an example of persistent, humble faith. In verse 29 through 31, Jesus heals many in Galilee. Jesus leaves Tyre and Sidon, returns to the Sea of Galilee, and goes up on a mountainside, where he sits down. Large crowds bring all kinds of sick people to him, the lame, the blind, the crippled, the mute, and many others. They lay them at his feet, and he heals them. The crowds are amazed and praise the God of Israel. This story is also in Mark chapter 7. The key message is the magnitude of Jesus' compassion. In verses 32 through 39, we have Jesus feeding the 4,000 people. Jesus calls his disciples and expresses compassion for the crowd, who have been with him for 3 days and have nothing to eat. He does not want to send them away hungry. The disciples, despite witnessing the feeding of the 5,000, again express their inability to feed such a large crowd in a desolate place, asking, "Where in this remote place could we get enough bread to feed all these people?" They have only 7 loaves and a few small fish. This highlights their continued spiritual slowness to grasp Jesus' power. Jesus takes the food, gives thanks, breaks it, and has the disciples distribute it. They feed 4,000 men, besides women and children, and gather 7 large basketfuls of leftovers. This story is also in Mark chapter 7. The key message is that Jesus cares about our physical needs. There are 4 key themes in Matthew chapter 15. 1. True purity. Spiritual defilement comes from the heart, not external actions. 2. Tradition versus God's law. Human traditions must not override divine commandments. 3. Faith of outsiders. The Canaanite woman's faith shows that the kingdom of God is open to Gentiles. 4. Jesus' compassion and power. Through healings and feeding miracles, Jesus shows both divine authority and love. Matthew 15 starkly contrasts the superficiality of religious tradition with the depth of God's true commands and the transformative power of a pure heart. It also dramatically expands the scope of Jesus' mission, showing his divine authority and compassion, reaching out to Gentiles, and once again, demonstrating his miraculous provision for all who come to him. This chapter challenges us to examine whether our faith is rooted in true devotion or empty rituals. Do we really trust that Jesus cares for both our spiritual and physical needs? Do we really understand the role that faith and humility play in our relationship with Jesus?